What's cracking, guys? Welcome to yet again another Honda recap. It's been a crazy week for the Stock Block 1000 gang. I got a bunch of updates I want to talk about. Let's get in this. Hey guys, how's it going? How you doing? I hope you guys had yet again another awesome week. Thank you again for tuning in to the Honda Recap. If this is your first time watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell so you're notified every time this comes out. And that's Monday night at 8 o'clock, where I basically sit down, gather everybody around, and talk about what's been happening on the YouTube universe in the Honda world. So, with that said, like I mentioned in the intro, we have a bunch of cool stuff happening in the Stock Block 1000 gang, and I want to go over all the cool stuff that's happened. Kicking this off, Hunter Tuned. This guy has been putting in so much work in a customer's Integra. It came in shambles, but he basically pulled an engine out of one car, put it in the Integra, had to figure out a crazy rat's nest of a wiring harness, but everything started to work out great. Once he got that nailed down, he was actually able to drive around his EK, and he started noticing some weird things happening with his motor. He realized after taking the head off that he took it to a machine shop to get it decked, and it was not quite as even as he thought, so he was starting to get a lot of air in the cooling system, and it actually caused a kind of blown head gasket situation, but that didn't stop him. As soon as he got back, the machine shop actually went ahead and decked it for him while he was there. He got home, got it on the car, and was ripping up the streets later that night. It is insane, the power that I'm sure he's putting down in that car, and it's not so stock, but bottom end slightly built with the head that seems to be stock, and he's definitely putting down crazy amounts of power. Next up, we got Boosted Boys. They've been working on Jeremy's Civic for quite some time. Yet again, another B20 VTEC build. A lot of eBay parts. We've got scat rods, YCP pistons, stock GSR head, stock GSR cams, and they went down to PFI and Brent put down a tune. First rip, they got over 424 horsepower to the wheels. They are actually running decapped LS injectors, the ones that Hunter Tune is actually selling on his website and has been putting on a bunch of other customer cars. They did fantastic. It's also really great to see that the motor is running in Jeremy's car. It's ripping. He actually didn't expect to get that much power. He actually wanted to bring it down, but Brent wasn't having it. Basically pushed the motor to as far as it could go, and then they brought it down slightly. It's really great to see all the hard work that Jeremy and Kyle have been putting into that Civic. It's one of the cleanest cars they have, I'm not gonna lie. Jeremy took a lot of time to paint the engine bay, get everything kind of set up, and put exactly how he kind of wanted. It's really great to see that Brent actually just said, yo, come over, let's find out what's going on, let's get that thing tuned, and man, it came out great, and I know he's excited about it. Next up, we got the leader of the Stock Block 1000 gang, Zosh. This guy's been putting in a lot of effort in his car. You've totally seen this in the past couple months. He's been taking Randy to the track, trying to see who's faster, and they're trying to figure out what's going on there. He is going to the Orlando IBOC, and he's going to be with JB Tuned next to the tent alongside Mark from Honda Street Garage, but he's starting to notice some weirdness, some low compression in a couple cylinders in his B20 VTEC. In the next couple days, I can't wait to see how much hustle this guy is going to put in, because I know he does need a new block, and he's going to get it, and he's going to have to swap the head over and get that car ready to go for the tuner to be able to make it to IBOC. It's going to be a crazy next couple weeks. I can't wait to see the footage. I do know that in his latest video, he actually showed Randy. He's going to actually do some work on his RSX, so I know Zosh is kind of, excited about that, because really early on in Zosh's channel, he kind of wanted an RSX for himself. So it's really cool to see some DC5 action on Zosh's channel, and I know that's coming up quick. All right, next up we got PFI Speed, Brent's channel. I know he's been putting in work as well. In the latest video, he actually tuned Wyatt from SketchyDA's channel and Jeremy's Civic, trying to see who can put down more power, but honestly, it's kind of like a friendly rivalry of who could get their motor done at the fastest. They both have similar builds, both being B20 VTECs, and at the same time, both having random parts that are inside of it, both having scat rods. Jeremy had YCP pistons, and I know SketchyDA Wyatt is actually running Nippon Racing pistons. Brent actually goes into quite some detail as he tuned both cars on the dyno, which his channel is actually really cool to watch, because you get to see the behind the scenes of a tuner actually on the dyno. It's pretty crazy to see how much power he was able to pull out and clean up in those tunes, so definitely check out PFI. All right, next up we got SketchyDA Wyatt. He's actually been building his B20 VTEC, coinciding with Jeremy and the Boosted Boys. Actually got it over to Brent at PFI to get it tuned. First rip, he got very high horsepower. By the end of the night, he actually broke 500, and Wyatt wasn't having it. He was kind of afraid. He kind of wanted to drop the horsepower down, but not because of the power. He actually has a slight crack in the block, which is quite interesting, but he actually wants to be able to finish out the season, so he didn't want to go crazy on the power. If you want to see some behind the scenes footage of PFI, SketchyDA, and Boosted Boiz, you can also check out Suicide CRX. He used to be an old Boosted Boiz. Actually, Jeremy and Wyatt are running Meticulous Manifolds, so that's another channel you guys want to check out. Suicide CRX is an awesome channel. Check it out. Following that, we got Youngstatic. This guy has been helping his friends out at the track after getting his car to the track and running 12s. So, as we know that, IBOC here in California is coming up, and Dana basically wants to get his wagon up and running and there so he can track it, because IBOC this year is at Fontana. He definitely wants to hit the track with this car, but the K20 he has in it does have some weird rings issue, and he's kind of puffing a little smoke out the back. But in his latest video, you actually saw that he got a donor RSX. The motor is pulled, he's getting things cleaned up, and the wagon is coming back for a comeback. He's gonna get the block cleaned up, put it in his wagon, get the turbo set up, and I can't wait to see how much power he pulls in on this next setup. I'm sure it's gonna be equal to where it was before, but I don't put it past Dana to want to bump up the power because he's taking it all the way to SoCal and running it there. Next up, we got Chris Sadowski. If you've been following his channel and his friends, you know that in the past he has a really good friend named Dylan. Dylan got in a pretty bad accident a couple weeks ago and isn't doing too great. He's currently in the hospital. Hopefully he's doing much better. One of the biggest things he really loved was his Integra and the DA community. While he's actually not doing well in the hospital, Chris and a bunch of friends actually pulled together, found him a new shell, and are actually currently making everything come together so he has an extremely well put together DA when he gets better. It's really heartfelt to see all the effort that he's doing this. And while currently Dylan is actually in a medically induced coma, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background so that when he comes to, all his friends, his family, and his car is back on all four wheels. It's really awesome to check out. Definitely check out one of the latest videos on Chris Sadowski's channel where he explains everything that's going on. It's an amazing effort by a lot of the community to see them all stick together, help out as much as possible, and just cheer and give him a bunch of love because he's definitely going to need it. And it's really awesome to see that regardless of his health, they want to get him back into a car because they know that's where his passion was. Following that, we got SP Tuning out there in Florida. I've talked about this guy in the past. He's been making a 4 or 5 part series on how to build an 800 horsepower B-Series build. In his latest video, he actually has the motor finally put together and getting into his car. It's an awesome feat to see all the effort that he's putting in there. He's definitely another drag guy, so I know he's going for big numbers. I believe the car made around 600 horsepower before, so I think he's stretching for 8 this season. I can't wait to see if you can actually hit that, and I want to see the times you put down. Good job on the effort, man. These are amazing videos. I've watched them all 2 or 3 times. There's a lot of information out there, guys. If you've never built a motor for yourself, this is definitely a channel to just kind of watch, go through the series, and pick up on stuff that maybe you've never thought of. Following that, we got DeadBeat Garage, the khaki Civic. This guy's out there in Arizona. He's been putting in a bunch of work as well. This latest video, he actually needed a little bit of help if he could actually get it. He's been building a Type R motor. He finally broke everything down, took it to a machine shop, and kind of found out some things that he wasn't super happy with. He pulled out all the pistons. They seem really grimy. There's a lot of stuff going on, and so he's kind of wondering what he should do. In his latest video, he actually asked you guys, his subs, to try to see, hey, what should I do? Should I keep going down the Type R road, or should I go B20 like a lot of other people have been doing? I personally think he should try to see how far he can get with the ITR. I think the crank looked pretty decent. You can get new rods, you can get new pistons. I would definitely run with the Type R. That's my opinion, but definitely go check out DeadBeat Garage's last video. Tell him what you think. Another car that's finally coming to completion, we got Adam Ivell of 621. In the past videos, the EG flat, the motor in, everything kind of buttoned up, all on 4 wheels. In his latest video, the brakes got done. The interior, I think, might be starting to go in, but Adam kind of goes over what his plans are, what he needs to do next to get the car rolling. He obviously has a life, he's running a business, he's got tons of other stuff on his plate. As you've been following his channel, he's been kind of, you know, flying around, hanging out with a lot of other people, driving a whole bunch of different cars, but I love the fact that he always comes back to the EG. I know for a fact he wants to finish it, and I'm super stoked how all his friends are coming together and helping him. It's amazing to see how much effort can get done with 5 or 6 of your friends just pushing you forward and each trying to pick up a wrench and seeing what they can do. I'm super excited to see the EG done. It's going to be a wild ride in the next couple months, but I have full faith that it's going to get done, man. All right, following that, we got the build of all builds. We got Vasile Garage. This guy has been going at it for about 5 months. 5 months ago, this guy got a completely running Acura Integra LS drove it home, and then immediately took it all apart. All apart. Right-hand drive, everything. It's finally coming together, and his latest video was kind of one of the craziest ones you can watch, where he put out every single part he has for the car, laid out, perfect in symmetry, all across his garage, and he goes over every single part that's actually gonna go into the car. It's an amazing setup, and when you actually see it, it looks like it's gonna be better than a brand new car. I just thought it was really cool, very photogenic to actually see like an exploded view of the car that's actually going into it, and I can't wait to see what's going on. If you've been following on Instagram, you know that the motor is actually in the car, and we're days away from seeing it start up. All right, next up we got Mark from Honda Street Garage. This guy took his car and his couple friends' cars, and they all went to Import Alliance. So if you weren't actually out there to make it, he's got a 2-part video going out right now, and actually showing you the people that are there, the cars that are there, and the community. I really love this kind of stuff because obviously I can't get out to the East Coast to see these giant shows, so I'm really happy that you guys are covering it because I can see it from your guys' point of view. So that again, if you want to see what Import Alliance was like from Mark's point of view, definitely check out his last couple videos. All right, a little FG2 action. We got Roice Natividad. This guy actually went to Stance Nation here in Northern California and instantly decided, you know what? That's the kind of life I want. He kind of went the track route, and then he ended up with his Civic now that I know he's building straight for track. So as his daily driver, his FG2, he actually put it on bags. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks really good. I wanna see what he plans next. He's got good taste in the parts that he buys, and I really like the fact that he's kind of doing it up really nice. So if you like the 8th gen, 9th gen FG2 action, this is definitely a channel to check out. He's putting a lot of heart and effort into his build, and it's moving along very quickly. All right, last but not least, we got Nicholas Marlow. I've talked about this guy up in the past as well. He's building a K20 Integra. He's out there in Canada. In his latest video, he actually puts up a lot of rear suspension goodies. He's got a giant rear sway bar. He puts on his suspension, subframe, all the goodies. It's definitely coming together. We're getting closer video by video, man. I got you. You got my full support. I love all the products that you're using, and I love all the effort that you're putting in. I know it's kind of warming up out there in Canada, so hopefully you get out there and you're a little more comfortable to work, because I'm super excited to see that build wrap up. All right, next up, I want to talk about some individuals that I kind of want to shed some light on. With that said, I want to start this out with Big Mike.
So who is Big Mike? It all started as a kid, okay? I was a kid, and I would go with my mother to the grocery store, and I would read magazines in the magazine aisle. And it got to the point where she knew that I'd be safe right there. And so I would just stay there. And I would grab Sport Compact Car, Turbo Magazine, Super Street, Import Tuner, Honda Tuning, and every other one that was right next to it. You know, Motor Trend's right there too, but I gravitated towards the import magazines because that was the environment that I grew up in. Born and raised in Southern California, this is the home base of the import tuning culture. And so I was immersed in it from a young age, so that's what I leaned towards. So I grabbed these magazines and I read them, and I aspired to be like the people in them and to have cars like that.
Big Mike is a guy that has put in a lot of effort, not just in the Honda world, but the automotive world in general. He's got a very iconic Prelude that kind of set the mark for a lot of other vehicles moving forward. He's got a bunch of videos coming out, and his YouTube channel is just starting. He's obviously gotten a lot of questions on social media about what his thoughts are, his build, what he does with his time, how he feels about the car community. And what I feel that he's starting to do now is sit down in front of the camera and do a Q&A session with just himself, nothing crazy, talking to you, answering questions that you have and he's received from the community. He's a legend in the world. He's the first human being to actually grace the cover of a Honda Tuning magazine, which to this day isn't a thing. He's actually the first and possible only one. So the man is a legend. He's put in a lot of effort over the years. He's got tons of experience in builds. He's doing large TV spots now, believe it or not. He has just been around, and I gotta say, props to you, man. I can't wait to see what you're doing with the YouTube channel. Keep it up, honestly. I know you have tons of questions that people are asking, and I love the fact that you're just taking that time, taking that humble persona, and putting it out there and answering everything that people want to know about you, the car community, and where you see it going. All right, next up, we got Danny Alaniz, the Camera Mafia. I wanted to take a second to actually talk about this guy. This man's been a camera operator for 25 years. He's a new inductee of the Society of Camera Operators. Not only has he been making big motion pictures, TV shows, and operating high definition cameras for 20 to 25 to almost 30 years, he's also been a very, very large active community member in the Honda drag racing scene. You can find footage of him from 7 or 8, 10 years ago on YouTube right now from the Camera Mafia. This guy has worked with such huge companies like Sheepy Built in the Lambo video. Golden Eagle. And he's done everything with incredible high definition cameras. It's really insane to watch the footage and the videos that he's made. A lot of the Jerry Built Sweet Dreams videos. This man brought high definition footage to the scene a long time ago, bringing those awesome movie quality cameras just to the drag strip, just to see people building their cars, giving you a different point of view of actually what's been going on. It's been really cool to actually see the progression of all of these videos that he's been putting out, and I know he really wants to get into it again. You can definitely check out all the videos that he made on Instagram. Definitely check out his YouTube channel where he's slowly starting to upload all the videos that he has in his arsenal and just bringing the camera work and quality of gear just to the drag strip. It's insane to see things shot at 4K and 6K and just condensed on YouTube. The actual raw footage is insane, but it takes a lot when the quality that you're used to is so high being in a motion picture and you actually just want to bring that to your passion, which is cars. So I really want to shout you out, man. Thank you so much for what you've done. I love the footage that you're doing, and I can't wait to see the next videos that you have in your arsenal. I know they're coming out. I know you've been working on them hard. All right, guys, with that said, that's it for this recap. Thank you for coming back for another week. It's been an awesome ride. I hope you guys are out there wrenching, working on your cars, or just hanging out with your friends, because you know what? That's all we need sometimes. And like I say all the time, guys, let's get a conversation going in the comments below. If you see somebody you know, if you follow their channel, let them know. We all love to hear it. Well, I want to bring the community together. Let's get a conversation going down here in the comments. With that said, guys, I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.